Number 1. Shopping bags at checkout. For over a century, shopping bags were just part of buying stuff. You'd walk into a store, buy your groceries, and the cashier would pack everything into bags. Bags were simply how stores got your purchases from their counter to your car, which was a service. Then California had an idea. In 2014, the state decided that plastic bags were an environmental problem. But here's where it gets interesting. The solution wasn't just banning plastic bags or encouraging reusable ones. The state passed a law requiring stores to charge at least 10 cents for every single carryout bag. By law, stores must charge you. The law says it's about changing behavior and reducing waste, but here's what actually happens at checkout. You pay the fee, the store collects your money, and keeps most of it. The government mandated the charge, but the stores pocket the revenue. So taxpayers fund the government to create regulations that force private businesses to collect what looks exactly like a tax, except the businesses keep the money. New York City followed with their own version in 2017, requiring a 5-cent fee for paper bags. The stated reason was environmental protection. What started as a dime has become a quarter in many places, and shoppers can't do anything about it because the law requires the charge to exist. Number 2. Dog ownership. Getting a dog was as simple as buying one and keeping it. Then governments discovered they could turn pet ownership into a revenue stream. The official reasoning was rabies control and public safety. Dogs needed to be tracked, vaccinated, and registered. This was fair enough in theory, but here's what that actually meant. Every single year you now had to pay the government for the permission to keep your own pet. Today, it is mandatory to pay, and dog license fees range from $10 to over $100 annually, depending on where you live. In New York City, for example, it's $9 per year if your dog is spayed or neutered, and even more if not. The government has literally created a pricing structure based on your dog's reproductive status. They're not just tracking rabies, they're incentivizing specific behaviors through taxation. And these licenses don't even come with services. You're not getting free vet visits or dog park access. You're just paying for a piece of paper or a metal tag that proves you get charged. It's like paying for a receipt to prove you paid for the receipt. Cities justify these programs by saying the fees fund animal control services. But if you actually look at the budgets, dog license fees rarely cover even a fraction of animal control costs. The program is even getting out of hand to require cats, chickens, and other animals. What started as a dog tracking system has morphed into comprehensive pet taxation, and once a fee is established, it never goes away. Number 3. Trash pickup by the bag. Garbage collection used to be simple. Your taxes paid for it, the truck came weekly, and you put out your trash. It was a public service, like roads or street lights. Then municipal governments discovered pay-as-you-throw, and suddenly your garbage had a price tag. The pitch was straightforward. The fee was environmental responsibility. Why should someone who generates 1 bag of trash per week subsidize someone who generates 5 bags? And it actually made sense. Just make people pay for what they use, and they'll magically generate less waste. But this system created perverse incentives. Illegal dumping increased in almost every municipality that adopted paper bag systems. And here's what makes no sense. Your taxes didn't go down when these programs started. The city just added a new fee structure on top of the existing tax base. So you're paying twice, once through the taxes that used to cover garbage collection, and again through mandatory bag fees. The truly genius part is that the government frames this as optional. Nobody forces you to generate trash. If you don't like the fees, generate less waste. It's technically voluntary, just like paying for water is voluntary if you don't mind dying of thirst. They basically turned an unavoidable aspect of human existence into a discretionary expense. And remember, once these programs start, the fees only go up. Number 4. Watching broadcast TV in the UK. In 1946, World War II had just ended, and television was this exciting new technology. The BBC broadcasted TV signals through the air, free for anyone with a receiver to watch. Then the government realized something. If people are watching TV, why can't we charge them for the privilege of receiving the signals? This wasn't a fee for BBC programming specifically. It was a fee for owning a device capable of receiving television broadcasts. The law made it illegal to own a TV without paying the government approximately £2 annually, which translates to about $200 today. The absurd part is that the signals are being broadcast regardless. The BBC transmits programs through the air whether you pay or not. The license doesn't grant you access to anything. It only grants you permission to use your own equipment to receive signals passing through your property. Other countries watched this and learned. Several European nations adopted similar schemes. Austria, Germany, and Switzerland all introduced TV fees or household media taxes. The UK basically normalized the idea that receiving broadcast signals could be criminalized, and governments worldwide took notes. Number 5. Driving into city centers. Before 2003, if you wanted to drive into central London, you just drove in. Then Transport for London came with an idea to implement congestion charge. Suddenly, driving into a specific zone of your own city cost £5 per day. The stated goal was reducing traffic congestion. Make driving expensive enough, and people will take public transit instead. On the surface, this sounds reasonable. But here's what actually happened. The government created a geographic region where your right to drive on public roads requires daily payment. The zone covers about 8 square miles of central London, where if you drive into this area, cameras photograph your license plate, and you're automatically charged. As you would expect, the fee should be used to make more roads and solve the problem. But road capacity didn't increase and London kept growing. The charge became a permanent tax without solving the problem it was meant to address. People just accepted paying £15 daily as the new normal. The zone has expanded too. London added more areas and increased hours. What started as a limited experiment in one part of the city grew into a permanent fixture with extra charges on top. Number 6. Public land access fees. For most of American history, visiting national forests was free. You could drive to a trailhead, park, and hike without paying anyone anything. The land belonged to the American people, managed by the Forest Service using tax dollars. Then in 1996, Congress decided that accessing your own public land should cost money. The recreation fee demonstration program started as a 3-year pilot. The government gave federal agencies authority to charge day use fees at national forests. The program was supposed to be temporary, but government being government, it became permanent. What used to be free, funded by tax dollars, now requires cash or buying a pass in advance. If you show up without payment, you can be fined $100 to $500. The justification was that fees would fund trail improvements and supplement appropriations, but agencies became dependent on fee revenue, and Congress reduced appropriations accordingly. Instead of the fees supplementing the funding, it replaced it. The Forest Service collects roughly $200 million annually from recreation fees. That sounds like a lot until you realize the agency's total budget is nearly $8 billion. We're basically nickel and diming visitors for a tiny fraction of budgets while creating extensive overhead for fee collection. Almost 50% of recreation fee revenue gets consumed by the collection infrastructure itself, which is like spending 50 cents to collect every dollar. Number 7. The monthly 9/11 surcharges. Emergency calling used to be simple. If you had a phone, you could call 911 for free. The service was funded through general taxes because emergencies are a basic government function. Then, starting in the 1990s, states began adding dedicated 911 fees to phone bills. The first 9/11 surcharges appeared as small monthly charges, maybe 50 cents to $1. The pitch was straightforward. 9/11 systems needed upgrading to handle new technologies. Rather than fund upgrades through general budgets, states added a dedicated line item to phone bills. And here's what's insane about this. Calling 911 is still free. You're not paying per call or for emergency services directly. You're paying a monthly tax for the infrastructure that makes calling 911 possible. It's like paying a monthly fee for the existence of fire hydrants in case you might need them someday. But it doesn't even end there. Not all of this money actually goes to 911 systems. Multiple states have been caught diverting 9/11 fee revenue to general budgets or unrelated programs, which leaves you wondering why are they even collecting it as a 911 fee.